So, is it safe to say that almost $1 million of what we consider to be reductions were scheduled to go away anyway? In other words, we're just trying to get a handle on what was actually proposed as a cut, but what's actually going to sunset or was going to go anyway for various reasons.
And you're saying $1 million, Chair?
Close to $1 million.
Go ahead.
If you're looking at all funding sources, or if you're looking at just GF?
Well, let's go with all funding sources.
Because if you're looking at all, sorry, Chair Dunley, if you're looking at all funding sources, you're going to have more than $2 million because you have $2.7 million that's decreasing from the broadband, or the BTOP.
And GF?
In GF, it's looking like, I do math, I don't think it's quite,
Chair Dunley, I believe you're probably referring to the parents as teachers and the one-time for the prototypical design. Those add up
so
to
it's
about $1
close,
million.
yes.
And so one was one-time, one sunset. So that's correct.
Accurate.
And that's GF. The ARA funding was obviously federal funding.
Is that reduction, or the sunsetting of this money, is that considered to be part of the overall reduction from the governor's budget, or is that treated separately in the concept of a reduction from the governor's budget? In other words, is that million considered to be a cut in the governor's budget? Is it portrayed as a cut? Can someone perceive it as a cut?
Senator Dunleavy, I would say it's perceived as a reduction. So they're not separated out. When we look at final numbers, we'll speak to what is the relationship between this budget and last year's budget. This year's budget is reduced by, and it's based on all of those. So some are intentional additional cuts, some are cuts that were coming, well, reductions that were coming automatically.
Okay.
So they're not separated out.
Okay. Questions? Senator?
Through the chair, thank you, Mr. Hanley. So would it be possible to actually have that separated out so that when we look at the total reduction of the budget going forward, we can see which items were one-time or which items sunset?
Through the chair, that would be very easy for us to just pull these off of here and give you a separate list that speaks to the ones that sunset. That's easy enough to do.
Through the chair.
Yes.
And also, would it be too much trouble on page 5 to just provide a document again with maybe those one-time and sunsetting programs highlighted so that we can see? I think what we're trying to get at here, if I may,
sure.
Mr. Chair, is to actually see moving forward what reductions we were actually able to make as opposed to those that just would have happened anyway.
That's easy enough for us to highlight those lines. Ultimately, when we look at overall budget, is the education budget decreasing or increasing? I mean, we're looking at that overall number no matter how we got there. Some were intentional additional cuts, some were sunset. But yes, we can surely highlight those for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.